Morning, Bulldogs. Hope you had a great weekend. I taped these the night before. It's Sunday night for me. It's Monday morning for you, but I hope you did have a great weekend. Please stand for your morning ceremony. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First of all, highlights from last week. It was really cool to have our Spirit Week flow through the way it did. And I really want to thank Mrs. D and our student council leaders for really making that happen. It was a great week, from the morning messages to the activities during the day, the hall decorating, the Spirit Week or the pep rally at the end, homecoming court. It really brought us back to a little bit of normal here in Livonia, what makes us special, and it was really cool to see that happen. So I'm very proud of what we're doing. Not many people are doing this around the area. Not many people are even in school every day like we are, or have the opportunity to do that. And it just shows that with the right attitude, that there is a fine line between obstacles and opportunities, and anything's possible. Haunted House is coming our way, thanks to Molly Flanagan and support from Mrs. D. It's going to be this Friday. Many of the 9-12 students are working it. Many of you 6th and 7th graders can come from 8 to 10 and watch it happen. It'll also be open from 6 to 8 for younger students to come through with a little less scary trick-or-treating kind of theme to it. You'll have to wear a mask. You have to sign up online because you have to come in groups of 10. It'll be kind of like graduation was last spring, orientation was in the fall. One way in, go through a pattern, you go through a bunch of scary areas, and then you all go out the same exit. Once again, in groups of 10, wearing your mask and social distancing. So very similar to what we've already done with other events here at Livonia. Works well, fits within the health department guidelines, and it's going to be another great night. So thank you, Molly, for making that happen. Some changes. First of all, seminars. We have a need to bring PE back into the building for 6-8 and some of the other levels too. So we're going to be moving Mrs. Scholl's seminar from the 6-8 gym to the small cafe. The students that eat in the small cafe right now are going to have to move either into the large cafeteria, or they can eat down by the audience, which is only a handful of students that eat in there now. Mr. Delano or Mrs. Delano and Mr. Carter's seminar, you're going to have the whole gym to yourself, but the barrier will be up, the separator in the middle of the room. We'll have the bleachers out. There won't be any chairs in there anymore. You'll sit in the bleachers, and there's stickers on the bleachers for you to be spread out 6 feet. So make sure you monitor that. And we do have one study hall. There's a 9-12 study hall there, 5th period with Mr. Cicero. That's going to be moving into the cafe, which I think it already did on Friday. And once again, this helps us free up the gym. Now that we're moving into the cold and wet months here in upstate New York, we can have 6-8 gym PE classes come back into the gym. Just a reminder, in seminars, you need to be where you're supposed to be. You need to follow the rules of the room. Yes, it's where you eat lunch, and yes, there's going to be some downtime during that period, but you need to follow the rules of what the teachers put in place in that room. And if not, then you're going to lose some time from being in there. And we've already had students that have had to spend seminar time in the main office. We've had students that had to even been suspended for what's gone on during seminar time. It's very important that you follow the guidelines in place. Like I've already said a few times today, and many times this year, we're one of the few schools that are giving students, few schools in the country that are allowing students to come to school every day if they choose. And we're only able to do that because of our safety plan. And nowhere in our safety plan are students going wherever they want during the course of a day or wandering the halls. So make sure you're not doing that, or once again, you can't be here. That's just the way it works. And we want us all to be here and have the same opportunities if we want to be here. This weekend, just as I looked around and saw even what was happening in our own town, when I looked at how often we see our leaders in our country, or people in our world, how they treat each other, or, how they model what they think is success. I hope that last week you were listening to some of the speeches that were shared. And I know the one that stood out the most for me was one of the highest decorated admirals in the U.S. Navy, Mr. William McRaven. He gave a very powerful speech. I know it was a little long, but I hope you were listening, because he talked about what he learned from becoming a Navy SEAL and the lessons he learned through that training. And when you listen to him, I hope you listen closely, because this is what really makes a strong leader. And this will always be what makes a strong leader. And this makes someone who, these characteristics will be what someone needs to change the world and to make the world around them better. I've lived in an area of the country where I had numerous friends who were Navy SEALs. I had numerous friends who became Navy SEAls, and they're special human beings for what they go through, because it's an extremely grueling training that they have to go through to become a Navy SEAL. And the things he talked about were doing the little things right. He talked about making your bed first thing in the morning, and if you start the day with a couple simple tasks, the big things will fall in line. And you've heard me say that here. Pay attention to little things, and the big things are going to happen. That's kind of what he was saying. And you can't do this alone. Find someone, find friends, family members, people you can surround yourself with that are going to make you a better person, that are going to help move you forward. And respect everyone. Doesn't matter what their beliefs are, who they are, where they come from, what they look like. You don't measure someone by their appearance. You measure them by their heart. Nothing else. And I love the fact he was saying that failure, you can't avoid it, but learn from your failures and fail forward. And life isn't fair. There was part of that training that they went through for weeks that they purposely were going to make you fail no matter how well you did the task. Even if you did everything right, they were at some point going to say that you didn't. And they were going to make you go through something extremely painful because you didn't. And they wanted to see, were you going to make excuses? Were you going to blame someone else? Were you going to point fingers? Or were you just going to work hard, push forward, and move on? Because that's what they wanted. They wanted to know who was going to move on when life wasn't fair. And face those obstacles head on. Step up when the times are toughest. And along the way, look for ways to lift other people up around you and carry them with you. And don't ever back down. When the bullies face you, face down the bullies, and remember that with hope, one person can change the world if you don't give up. So we've had some great weeks and months here in Livonia, and I know it's because many of us have carried the right attitude. And we're going to continue to move forward that way if we carry this attitude, especially if we follow what Admiral William McRaven said in that video. So today's quote is from Martin Luther King Jr. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. Once again, hope you have a great Monday. Have a good day, Bulldogs.